Leaders and healers, gamers and claimers, ladies and gentlemen from around the universe, from around the globe, from around the community, welcome to the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. I am your host, Anthony Cheam, speaker, life coach, author, trainer, musician, singer, songwriter, friend to you, giving to you the best of what I've learned and earned in my 40 years plus years of being on this planet, ready to give to you everything I've learned and earned, ready to return to you in care and compassion and love for you. Everything in experience, in spiritual wisdom, in physical fitness, mental, emotional, whatever it might be. I have been so obsessed for the past 15, 20 years, studying, reading, attending, contemplating what life's all about and how to live the absolute best life. Because this podcast is dedicated to helping you claim your power, clarify your purpose, and cultivate your deepest, widest, and highest passions possible. Ultimately, so you can show up as a better, best, more advanced, enhanced version of yourself. And then ultimately, as you are growing, as you are showing, as you are sharing, you then can enjoy the absolute best fulfillment, which comes from then sharing what you've learned and earned and sharing it with the rest of the world and returning it in compassion and care through your delivery system, through your care, through your love. So thank you for joining us. Whether you're listening to this podcast actively on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever you are, or passively on any of the podcast platforms, we salute you. We honor you for taking the time and the energy out of your day to listen to this while you're driving your car or you're working out or just sitting at home, just chilling. So we honor you. And this is exactly how I started my journey, 15, 20 years ago, listening to audios, reading books on how to better myself. Because quite frankly, when I first started my journey, ladies and gentlemen, leaders and healers, it was all about, I finally got to a point where I looked in the mirror and said, I don't like who I am. There's got to be more. I got to be better, and I got to learn from people that are living extraordinary lives. And so I started reading books, attending seminars. I got some mentorship, and here I am today living an amazing life, and I'm just wanting to 10x my life and 10x the life that you live. So what's up? We haven't been on the show for at least about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, due to personal circumstances. But we're back in the game. We're in this for the long haul until God takes my last breath. I'm going to be on this podcast. I know Cam feels the same way, and I'm really hoping that you guys feel the same way about this podcast and you give us a 2 thumbs up. So Cam, what's up, man? How you doing? It's been a while.
Hey, I'm doing so good. I say that literally every time. I've been editing these podcasts and I realize every time I come on, I'm like, I'm good. But no, really, this time I am more than good, fantastically amazing, because when you realize the truth of fear and doubt and thoughts, that negative thoughts and all these things, when you realize what they really are, and who you really are, man, it's a crazy thing because it's like easy to lose, easy to gain. And it's that delicate balance between learning and unlearning.
Yes, you got it.
And we've talked about that a lot, but no, I feel really good, and I'm looking forward to the power of fear and doubt, because I can definitely attest to how powerful going through tough times of no control, not knowing, you're in the fog, you're in the darkness. There's some weird value that it has. So
you're right, and I think you said it best. There is some value in it. In my recent Instagram and Facebook post, I put, I know Queen, you commented on it, and thank you for commenting on it. It's what if, I asked the question, what if fear and doubt were necessary resistance for you to strengthen your courage and character muscles? What if it was necessary that you felt fear, you had doubt, so you then can strengthen your character and courage muscles? And I love to use the metaphor of weight training, because it's such a profound and powerful metaphor for understanding human growth, the human condition, and how to grow and expand, to become stronger, to possess more endurance, to possess more mental focus and clarity. And for you to get stronger physically, in terms of strength training, you have to you got to push those muscles against a lot of weight, and weight that you're not used to. Because if you continue to use the same weight over and over again, but never go to the next level of weights, where let's say you start with 50 pounds and you're doing bench press and you did it 6 times, and then the next week you did it 7 times, the week later you did 8, and then you go, okay, now I can do it 20 times. Unless you go to 60 or 70 or 80, you're not going to get stronger. Yeah, you might develop some endurance, but in terms of actually taking your muscles to get stronger, you have to take your life to the next level. And that goes in line with your life. That if you grow to a certain point, you get your high school diploma and you stop there, the moment you stop learning in terms of formal education and you don't go to college or university, I'm just using formal education as an example, you're going to stop growing. There's no state of stagnation where you reach a certain point. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to learn anymore. And people have this idea of the vaccination theory, where I have an education, therefore I don't need to grow anymore. I have the flu vaccination, therefore I don't have to focus on my health. Wrong. That is absolutely wrong. I continually I myself am 100% committed to continuously learning and growing and experiencing and just engulfing every experience so that I can be a better human being and experience this life with so much greater depth. That's what it's all about for me anyway. That's my philosophy. In every human interaction with the universe, interaction with animals, with interaction with the planet, interaction with my kids, my wife, my clients, every day I do my best. And this is what my original mentor used to say to me. Every day you make a commitment to improve 0.1%. It wasn't even 1%. It was 0.1%. Read one extra page. Do one extra push-up. Walk an extra 10 meters. Start small. Enter in and commit to small commitments every day and then compound it over a lifetime. Man, you'll be rich and wealthy in every area of your life. And let me tell you something. Unless you push yourself against the discomfort and the fear and the doubt that life inevitably brings, if you continually just live in a box and you don't get out of your comfort zone to expand, it's hard to feel fulfilled and hard to feel happy when you feel like you're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. I know we're creatures of habit, and some people like the routine, but I can tell you the times when I was most alive is when I tried something new. I pushed myself to do something new, to expand my business, to try out this podcast. I've never done podcasts before, and when Cameron called me, he said, Anthony, I think you should start a podcast. This was like 2 years ago, right, Cam? Wasn't it about 2 years ago? He said, start a podcast, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was Cam who pushed me, man. He was mentoring me, and he was saying, Anthony, you got to, in order for Anthony, you talk about upgrading yourself and being Anthony 2.0, 3.0. Now Anthony 4.0 or 5.0, that version of you, Anthony, is to now take your message out to the world through podcasting, not just through one-on-one clients and little small seminars and, speaking engagements and writing books. It's now time to take it to the next level. And it was uncomfortable. It really was, because I'd never done a podcast before. And now it's like, now I'm a lot more publicly known and all these other things. But I knew it was in line with my purpose. It was uncomfortable. There was some fear that came along with it. There was some doubt, of course. But I knew that if it was going to make a bigger impact and it was going to expand my ability to influence people at greater depths, then man, I was in. So when it comes to fear and doubt, when it comes to tough times, when it comes to feeling uncomfortable, just imagine this for a second. You have fear and doubt in front of your face. Let's say they are on the bench press, and you decide, I'm not sure if I've never lifted this weight before, I've never lifted this before, and you decide to not even attempt to do it, and you don't even do it, you run. Therefore, who's winning, or who's owning who? Is it the fear and the doubt that are owning you, or are you owning your fear and doubt? And are you using your fear and doubt to elevate yourself, or is fear and doubt keeping you pigeonholed or keeping you from living the absolute best life? And so stepping into your fears, pushing against your fears, pulling against your doubts are going to strengthen your character and courage muscle, which will then lead to greater achievement, greater success, greater happipiness, a greater sense of self, knowing that, you know what, I felt the fear, I didn't deny it, but I pushed through it anyway. There's that great book that said, I forget who wrote the book, a famous psychologist. He wrote the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Feel the fear, do it anyway. And it was forwarded, I think, by Tony Robbins himself. But the point of the matter is, I'm not saying deny the fear. I'm saying use the fear. Use it to your advantage, that the fear is necessary. Because imagine you had no fears whatsoever. You had no fears, and everything was just fa la 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 la, like it's Christmas now, and every day is Christmas. There's no fear, there's no doubt, and everything's fine. You'd get bored. Right? Am I right? You just get bored, and there'd be there's no vigor. And it would just be like, okay, there's no challenge in the world. There'd be no reason to be here. And so use fear as fuel. Use your doubts as fuel. And that discomfort that you feel, like if you were, like as an example, when I first did my first speaking engagement, I was terrified. We're talking like terrified to the nth degree. And at that point, I realized with total knowingness and total experience that I now know why people fear public speaking, and it's the number one fear. And the second biggest fear is fear of death, and the third fear I think is fear of death while public speaking. All right. So, but the point is that the first time I did it, I was scared. Now I could have ran, but I got invited to speak at this clinic, and I was like, it was this little thing, and I was like, that's kind of cool. They're asking me to speak. And then the moment I got up there, I'm like, I froze almost. And you wouldn't have, like, I can tell you, I wasn't that good. I was not good at all. And I was slurring my words, and what do we do next? And I had a tough time making contact, and I was going all over the place. Point was, you only do your first time once. And let me tell you, the amount of confidence that I experienced by using my fear and stepping into my fear, not running from it, stepping in and using it, provided the necessary confidence and courage for my next time. I was for the next race, for the next performance, or the next speaking engagement. And then as I continuously got better and better and better, the fear is always still there. But I now know I have enough experience and resources and references to know that I can speak in front of any audience, whether it be one person, an audience of one, or an audience of 10,000. I don't care, because I speak from my soul, I speak from my heart. And I know that in order for me to shape and sharpen my courage muscles, my character muscles, I cannot live my life where everything's easy. If I'm teaching other people to conquer big problems and I'm not conquering my own problems, what kind of person am I if I'm just solving small problems when I'm trying to teach people how to conquer big problems and I myself am living small? It's time to stop living small, and part of that is stepping into what's fear. So what fear has been controlling your life? I ask you now. What's one fear or two fears that has been literally keeping you from living the best life? I was with a friend of mine, and she's been on the show, Brittany. And I'm hoping she's okay with me referencing her, but she was terrified of needles. She's been terrified of needles all her life, and I'm talking we're not talking just a small little phobia either. She was literally to the point where even if I came at her like with an invisible needle, she would like panic and like faint and throw up. We're talking that's how bad. This was a blatant phobia. Like, we're talking brutal. And just recently, she decided, I'm no longer going to be a slave to this fear. And she went to the clinic and actually saw and witnessed the needle going into her arm. And she felt empowered, walked out of that clinic and was like, yeah, I'm a new human being. I conquered my fear. It took her years to get there. It didn't matter whether she conquered it in 1 year or 10 years. The fact that she conquered it and she made the commitment, because she had enough leverage to say, I'm sick and tired of running and being scared of this thing. I need to conquer this. I need to own this. I'm sick and tired of running. And she went in there. So congratulations, Brittany, for doing that. But we all have those resources. We all have that ability to conquer a fear. And guess what? Having pushed against her fear of needles, do you not think from this point on, she'll have a new level of strength, courage, confidence, character, and I sense that she can empower herself regardless of the situation? And the answer is Y-E, yes, with a big exclamation mark. Any thoughts there, Cam? I mean, I went off on a tangent. I know it's been a while since I've been on this thing, so I've at least like 2 weeks worth of Anthony Cheam onto this one podcast.
No, everything you said made a lot of sense, and I love that story of the phobia.
Oh, yeah.
That's so crazy.
I love it. Don't you like that excites me?
Yeah, no, it excites me too, for sure. And I remember, I don't know, like a lot of, it's almost like you need to recognize the illusion so that you can recognize the opposite of the illusion, which is living totally authentically and passionately about like with who you really are deep down, like that coming out, shining and expressing yourself and all this stuff. For me, I come to realize that, fear and doubt has something to tell you, for sure. It has a message. They're basically messengers in a weird way. They're trying to tell you something about yourself, something about your past, something about something that you need to overcome that is in the way. Because I mean, if fear and doubt never came up, it's almost like if I was to cut you in the arm and you felt no pain, that'd be dangerous. You're right. It'd be very dangerous. Like, feeling pain is important. It really just helps you. And so if you want to live, I don't know, if you want to get somewhere far in your life, I feel like fear and doubt is one of those little sensors, one of those little nerve endings that will help you in certain situations. Not where it's like you're approaching the stage and it makes you want to run away. But it is telling you like this matters to you. Number one. I mean, if you're afraid of something, then it matters to you, especially when it comes to public speaking or playing music in front of people or singing in front of people. Because if it didn't matter, you just get up and you do it. And whatever, you know. But
no, but you and you could even I could even reframe what fear actually is. The people that are living successful, happy, fulfilled life, those people have just basically, it's not that they've never felt fear or are feeling fear. The steel cutting sensation of like that nervous, like right before you're about to go on stage, and you're like, oh my God, and it's both fear and excitement sort of dancing with each other, right? The people that are living extraordinary lives, and they could be just living next door to you, and they don't have to be like crazy multimillionaires or billionaires, and that's one form of it. But what I'm saying is, in whatever form success is in people's lives, and whatever people define it, or whatever the symbolism is to them, they have just basically, it's not they haven't felt fear. It's just that they have not been a slave to fear. They are using and dancing with their fears. They're not allowing, and they're allowing love to be injected into their fears, purpose to be injected into their fears, power to be injected into their doubts, courage to be injected into the areas that they feel that they have inabilities in, and yet they move forward. And that takes courage. It takes a level of congruency. It takes a level of determination. It does, to actually face your fears. That's why, when people come to me for life coaching, I'm not going to lie to you, that is one of the most courageous things people can do, to finally admit, I've got a problem and I need some help. I don't know how. I've had this problem for 20 years, and only now am I finally saying I need someone to help me with this problem. That takes courage to go and say, I have a problem, go to see a therapist or whatever, or to go to AA and say, I am an alcoholic and I need help here. That takes crazy amounts of courage to ask for help. And it's not weak to say, oh, I can't overcome this fear or this addiction or this phobia on my own. I need some guidance here. And what better way to actually conquer your fear than to actually talk to somebody who's actually conquered the exact same fear that you have, right? When people come to me, what fears have you had? I had deathly afraid of heights for a very long time. And I won't get you the background story on it. I may have told this on this podcast before, during a CN Tower visit a long, long time ago when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Anyways, and I said the same thing as Brittany. I said, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm a slave to this thing. I'm trying to become the best version of myself, and I'm buying into this idea. I'm entertaining this idea that this fear of heights owns me or has the power to name who I am. No. I believe love is the most powerful thing in the world. So you know what? I'm going to prove it with my life. And as Gandhi says, my message will be my life. And I want to live that way too. So whatever's holding you back, whatever doubt is holding you back, whatever fear is holding you back, maybe it's time to re-examine it. Maybe it's time to look at it straight in the face and say, no longer I'm going to be a slave to you, whether it be writing your book, whether it be, asking for that raise at work, or raising your fee, or whatever it is, or asking that girl on a date, that boy on a date at work, or, asking for that promotion. Step into your fears, because you know what? You'll leave, even if you don't get the result you're after, you can know with total congruency in your heart and soul that despite you didn't get the result, you were able to ask that person out on a date, even if they totally rejected you. You stepped into your fear and you did it, and you'll walk away with a new level of confidence, which no one can ever take away from you. So God bless you guys for joining us on this podcast. Whew. That was all in one breath. It's an honor as always. And if you have any questions, send us any questions on this podcast, Instagram, Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. Any comments, throw a comment on Apple Podcast, and we would appreciate it. And any last words, Cam? Anything else?
Great episode. Great episode.
Great way to start.
I would love to talk more about doubt, because I know this episode was mostly based on fear. So
yeah,
talking about doubt would be a lot of fun. Maybe next episode.
Yes, we'll expand on doubt, because that's a big one too. Doubting, believing your doubts and doubting your beliefs. That's a big one for a lot of people. And then if you're doubting your beliefs and believing your doubts, then you're in some serious trouble, because that'll stifle you from taking action. So anyway, thank you for joining us. We're back at it, and we're going to be a consistent for the next until Christmas. And this is my favorite time of year. For the people that are Christmas fanatics like me, you got less than 3 weeks to shop, and I'm almost done my shopping. Actually, I'm done my shopping. I just want to wrap my gifts and just immerse myself in Christmas music and craziness of Christmas. So God bless you guys, and to your continued upgrade and evolution, live it up with power, purpose, and passion. God bless. Peace out. Have an amazing and wonderful day, guys.